Hello once again. Happy Sunday. This is your friend Folusho or Nosoke. You're welcome to the page of Nosoke. And the main thing we do here is to educate ourselves about various health issues, health challenges, how we can manage them without using drugs, how we can prevent certain things. So that it is better, because it is better to be sorry. It's better to be safe than to be sorry. So hence the purpose of this teaching. And if you look at this part of the world, the rate of our ignorance is so alarming. And besides that, we don't really know the differences between the cultural beliefs, the customs, the traditions, and of course, we can't really differentiate between our health, what it entails, the nitty-gritty of what the composition of our health is. We so much believe in our customs and tradition and bring it into our health, and most of the time it gives us problem. Hence the need for just creating a sort of awareness for people to know one or two things about their health, or what and what to do, or where to go when such a issue occurs. So, and if you look at the world over, there is a global thing that is going on right now. The domestic violence, the gender-based violence, rape, defilement, that's for the child below 18 years, because a child below 18 years that you are sexually abusing cannot give consent. So hence it is a defilement for a child below 18. And if they are over 18, any sexual contact or sexual activity being carried out without proper consenting, which is not mutual or consenting, is a violence or a rape, or having sex with someone against their own self-will. So we've been able to talk about domestic violence, the causes, the probable causes, the main causes, how we can prevent it, was the thing we did last week. So today we're going to be talking about sexual violence, the myth, the misconceptions, and the facts. So talking about the myths, there are certain things that we have been made to believe. Like in this part of the world, someone can tell you that if there is rain and you are standing by the main door or by the entrance of a house and there is thunder, you might likely die. There are a lot of misconceptions, like saying someone with HIV checks, you are having an handshake with someone that has HIV, you will catch it. Or if you eat with them, you will catch it. They are not the truth. And most of the time, maybe you want to tell me that someone that has epilepsy, if you may mistakenly kiss them, or you come in contact with their saliva, you can be infected with epilepsy. No. Is a lie. It's not the fact, because epilepsy is not contagious. So most of those things we have to debunk. Most of those stories, or when you see someone, a male that has breasts that are well formed or even bigger than some women's breasts, and you want to think they are witches, they are wizards and all that, whereas they are having gynecomastia, which is simply some hormones malfunctioning in their body system. So those are the reasons we need to educate ourselves, and so that when you are in the knowing, you are handful of certain information, then you will be in the knowing of how to go about things when things happen. So there's some of these misconceptions. We'll be talking about the myth, the misconception, and of course the fact below that. Then the first myth and misconception about sexual violence that people have is that victim caused the violence that has happened to them. But the fact remains that it doesn't matter what someone is wearing, or how they are looking, or no one asks to be raped. No matter how I look, no matter how I look at you, maybe giving you some sign or something, nobody wants to be raped. Nobody asks to be raped. So, and for some people, their belief is that immediately they say somebody is at fault, it's his fault. No, it is not. It's a misconception on the part of people that have been raped. The perpetrator knows what they want to do. They had something in their mind, an issue, and they were only waiting for an opportunity to met those things out onto their victims. So it is not the fault of the person that is being raped. You got to control yourself as a man or a woman when it comes to rape or sex. Then people who sexually abuse often use force. You understand? I have not given you consent to touch me, to rape, to sleep with me, to have sex with me. So most of them, because there is no consent from their partner, they force them, they beat them, they harm them. Some tie them down, some close up their mouth, plaster their mouth, blindfold them just because they want to sleep with them. So nobody wants to be raped. They do it under force. They use threat. Some injure them directly before they are able to succumb, maybe when they become weak. An absence of injury does not indicate the victim consent. And even if you were not beaten, you were not injured, or you were not wounded, but at the time they were having sex with you, you were just there because you had no power, you were coerced, you were forced, you were threatened, and there is no injury does not mean that you consented or you enjoyed it. Then the second myth is there is no reason for a victim not to report being raped to law enforcement. But the fact remains that rape is the least reported out of all the criminal cases. It's the least reported and of course convicted people. There are many reasons why victims may choose not to report to law enforcement. Then let her go and report or tell anyone about what happened. And most of these reasons is that, number one, concern for being not. They be concerned that people might not believe me. That okay, assuming as a woman meeting someone, going to your house for visitation, and they believe I should have it at the back of my mind that something like sex might want to happen. So why go there in the first place? So I want to tell people, maybe they might not believe me if I say it after all, and maybe the person is a very big person in society, or someone is celebrity, and if I tell people that this guy raped me, would it not look like I'm just tarnishing his image, I'm defaming his character or something? They might not report because people might not believe them. Number two, fear of being attacked by the perpetrators of such crime. Okay, you are doing this. Okay, let me see how it goes. They want to threaten you. They want to take your life. They want to maim you because. So people are afraid to go and report to law enforcement agency because of fear of being getting a reprisal attack. Then fear of being blamed most of the time, especially women to women. It's crazy. It's like, why did you go there? Why did you go visiting? Why did you allow this and that? Because you can go there, you might be drugged. You might be your drink might be laced with something, maybe a poison that will make you sleep, or sleeping pills, or sleeping. Even marijuana, a lot of things can be laced. They can lace your drinks with. So if you want to tell people, you are afraid that they might blame you. Why did you go to a man's house in the first place? For what? So that is another point. The embarrassment and the shame. Rape comes with guilty. It comes with guilt, rather. It comes with embarrassment, low self-esteem, lack of confidence, fear, fear, rejection. It comes with a lot of things. So we don't want to talk, especially even both the sexes, even a man in particular. If a woman says I've been raped, people might want to believe because she's a woman and she's a weaker vessel, so to say. But for a man to come out, because the way we raise our boy child in this part of the world, be strong, don't cry. Boys don't cry. You have to be strong. Be strong for your sisters. Like that. So it comes with a lot of embarrassment. And when you get to where you want to report, the kind of question what were you wearing? At what time of the day did it happen? How did it happen? Were you forced? Were you tied? All those questions, and you are going through trauma right now. And for those things, they are psychologically demeaning for someone that has been raped, that is experiencing, trauma right now. You understand? So most of the time it comes a lot. That's why we might not want to report. Then some people, there will be pressure. You have pressure because people want to don't talk, don't go and report. Police, when it comes to police case, there will be crisis and all that. They don't want you to report. You understand? You really want to do something. It might be if your parent. I've been to a police station, and a girl was defied, and the perpetrator, all he could do was to offer the father of the so-called girl, said, let me settle out this thing out of court. I'll give you 50,000 for you to go and take care of your child in the police station. And at the police station, the father was saying, hey, are you sure you want to give me 50,000? Oh, I'm game. You understand? So people don't want us to talk when we are being raped. They will be telling you, don't talk. And when it comes to, the issue occurs between the big men. Like, for example, the case of the girl that was the Uniben student that was raped to death in Benin. The father is crying out loud right now that people are threatening me. If you don't drop this case, if you don't do this and that, his life is at stake, because we can just wake up one day and we just hear that this the father is being shot down, he's been killed or something. So just because of that. Then apart from that, we have distrust of the law enforcement themselves. They might not really take you serious, and there are a lot of loopholes when it comes to reporting rape cases. But in Lagos State, at least they are doing something that I know of. They have a department in most of the police stations now that you can just go to the family support unit, and you go there to report rape cases, violence against you, against a child or something. So you don't need to get to the counter at the police station and be telling them, oh, I was raped and my daughter was raped, and the man at the counter directs you to another police, maybe the immediate boss. The immediate boss queries you, takes your history, you go to another, and you continue to tell them that your experience, despite the fact that you are still traumatized, you are still hurting and in pain. So I think they sat down, and there is a unit in the police station where you just get to the counter, just ask them, please, do you have family support unit there? And they will direct you, so that you don't need to go through rigors of telling people your bad history before you are being able to attend to. Then the desire to protect the attacker. Maybe it's a big man, a big woman. How do I tell them? I don't want to spoil their name. Let me just allow the sleeping dog to lie. Those are one of the reasons we don't want to expose our attackers most of the time. Then believe that there is not enough evidence. Like if it were to be abroad, easily they get the specimen, maybe the semen of the guy or the woman, or the way their hands, their fingerprints all over your body in the process of the torso and all that. And they have a system that is working. All your DNAs, your everything is in their system, and immediately you change an accommodation, you change a job, it's being recorded. Government knows your movement. They are your track. So whenever anything happens, it is very easy for them to track you down. But in Nigeria, you can see someone before the advent of this e-passport or something. Some has 10 passports. The same person, different name. Some have 5 international passports, 10 international passports, no DNA, no fingerprint. So if you are being raped there, where does the government get to test the DNA to be able to say, okay, it is this person that has raped you, it is this person that has molested you? So we don't have a record, proper record. So we want to protect our attacker and believe we don't have enough evidence against the person. Then another point, one of the main, another misconception is that victims provoke sexual assault when they dress provocatively or act in a promiscuous manner. Right now, when we're talking about promiscuity is when you decide to, you have more than one partner and you sleep, with people around. Like when let's say, for example, a prostitute, right? And that is their own business, and it is their body, it is their life. You can't go to a brothel to go and meet a prostitute and say you want to rape her. I've seen cases where they come together like 10, despite the fact that they are women, and they will deal with you just because you want to do them without payment. So most of the time they tell you pay before business. So if you cannot go to the hotel to go and rape a woman, and they dress almost half naked, but you don't go there to rape them, for crying out loud. But when you see a woman or a girl that is weak, that has no defense, nobody to fight for her, you want to force her, go in between her thighs with pressure, with coercion, with threats and all that. So victims, no matter how somebody dress, if you are a man who has brain, who can control yourself, who have self-control, and your brain is functional. Because to me, I see someone that rapes as a dysfunctional person, someone that has something like mental issues. That's the way I see it. If you don't have mental issues, you are okay. 5 minutes, 3 minutes enjoyment. There is no. Some people have mental issues and they prefer, to eat a woman, beat them down before they have sex with them. Is crazy. Is form of psychiatric disorder. But for someone, you say you are a man, a responsible man for that, with your coat, you are going to work, and you have your own girl child at home, you have your own sister, you have your own mother, and you say because somebody dress, when your daughter dress anyhow, or your mother decide to wear bomb shot or something, do you rape them? That's the question. So most of these things, they are, psychological linked, because it's a form of mental disorder. So you don't want to. So, but the fact remains that rape and sexual assault are crimes of violence, no matter how someone dresses. Remove your eyes. Do you rape your boss in the office because your boss dressed provocatively, or she's the type that has good body and you like her? Will you be able to even open your mouth and tell her, except she's the one that comes for you, that she likes you, she wants something between the both of you? Do you open your mouth and be telling her that, can you rape her? Will you go to her office and rape her because she has dressed provocatively or because you like her? No, you will not. So you got to be able to control yourself. It all boils down to self-control. So, then apart from that, forcing someone to engage in non-consensual sexual activity is sexual assault. It doesn't have any other name, regardless of the way the person dresses or acts. Like, for example, I like to dress well. There are certain kind of clothes I wear and I feel comfortable in. And you can't tell me because of that, inviting you to come and rape me. It's madness. Simple. It's madness. A woman has to feel good about what they wear. If they like, let them open it. Close your eyes and move on. If you don't have any psychiatric problem, some people will even wash and just throw away their eyes. But some of them, they still want to see what is in between them. The anatomy and physiology of the woman's reproductive system, the private part, is the same thing. That woman you have in the house is the same thing. If she's smelly, teach her up. At least you were the one that went for her in the first place. Teach her up and stop going from one place to another. When you carry your problem, come now the woman will sort that. It will become the family's problem. So apart from that, another misconception is if a person goes to someone's room, your house, or to meet you in bar or an enclosed place, he or she assumes the risk of sexual assault if something happens later. They can't claim they were raped sexually. No. Or sexually assaulted. No, that is not the truth, because the fact is that the assumption of risk wrongfully places the responsibility of the offender's action with the victim. You understand? Most of the time, you think because I've come to visit you, then I should know that sex will happen. No. I might just be bored in the house. I want to follow you out. I want to go with you. I want to do this and that. So there is nothing as he came to visit me now, and she came to visit me now. It should not be. For the fact that I entered your room or I'm in an enclosed place with you does not mean I really want sex. So it has to be consensual, it has to be mutual, and it has to be agreed ab initio before we go into anything. Then apart from that, another myth, it is not sexual assault if it happens after drinking alcohol or taking drugs. That's a lie. Being under the influence of either drugs or alcohol is not the excuse for sexual violence or sexual abuse. Because if after the alcohol and the effect of the alcohol wears off, if after it wears off and the victim decides, I want to sue my abuser, you are liable. Because he or she was under influence, and it look as if you took advantage of them. And if you are the one that is that raped someone, you are drunk and you are raping someone, it will be counted as an offense because you forced the person because you were drunk. Your judgment was impaired. You were under influence. So it is no case. So they might think you are taking advantage of the situation because he or she is vulnerable as at that material time. There are another myth. Most sexual assaults are committed by stranger. It is not rape if the person involved knew each other. It's a lie. Because the fact is that most sexual assault and rapes are committed by someone who the victim knows very well. You can't just see a stranger on the road. You go past me, I move past you. That ends the problem. But somebody you are used to, maybe you've been playing and they think the gestures you have been given is that you have interest in them. Or the child in your house, you are used to maybe uncles, aunties, family friends, and all that. And the children get used to them. So at the end of the day, they want to defy the kids, they want to abuse them because over time they have gotten used to the family, they know the system, they know everything, and they continue to threaten them that they should not speak up. So sexual abuse is not committed by stranger. 85% of sexual violence against women as an assault. Victor Adugo Olapi Sunday. 85% of sexual assault, especially on women or men, are caused by those people that are closer to the family than what you think. So apart from that, another myth is that if a person is aroused, he or she is assaulted, then it is not really sexual assault. No. The fact remains that orgasm, reaching a climax during sex, does not mean that you liked it. But there are body responses. There are various ways that our body respond. When someone, you might not like the person, it is under rape. Of course, you can enjoy the sex. You reach orgasm. So it does not mean that because you were raped, you might not have any feelings. You might, because your body will respond no matter how bad the sex is. So orgasm can be a natural biological reaction that somebody can't control most of the time. It does not mean that forced or coerced sexual activity was consensual. But at the end of the day, this is used to silence the survivor. That at least that day you reach orgasm now. And so keep quiet, you enjoyed it, that's it. But it was rape. Then, apart from that, another myth is when women say no, they mean yes. Those are one of the myths. Even I knew this one. It's been long that I've heard about that when you are toasting women and they are saying no, that they actually mean yes. It's a lie. Because for some women, no is no. For some women, yes is yes. And when someone say explicitly he or she is not giving you consent, it is the responsibility of you initiating or escalating sexual activity to gain consent of each and every level of sex. Can we have sex? Yes. Can we have sex? No. Close your eyes. Don't press further. If they now wish to have sex, they can come down to you. Okay, let's have sex. Okay, yes. I don't want to have sex again. You stop. I want to have sex. You strip yourself, and the woman is ready. It's even wet, and you want to continue, and the woman says, "No, I don't want sex again." It behoves on you, if you are not, if you are balanced mentally, to leave this woman alone. There are thousands of women that want you that time that she's rejecting you, but you believe you cannot control because your manhood is there standing. You can. You can. If it's your boss in the office and you know this is the job your life depends, will you rape her? If you just see her in the office, maybe mistakenly you saw part of her body, will you rape her? You won't rape her in the office. If you go to your mother's room without knocking as an adult, will you go to your mother and you see her dressing up something, or you see her nakedness and want to rape her? It means you are not mentally balanced. So if you are mentally balanced, you should be able to control your prick or your dick or your penis. So another myth is that they say serial rapists are uncommon. Most perpetrator is a serial rapist, meaning that those that choose coercion, violence to force you, they are, yes, the people, what we are saying here is that the people that are rapes, the serial rapists, most of the time are people that are closer to us. The moment they do it the first time and you don't speak up, they do it the second time, you don't speak up. They do it the third time, you don't speak up. They continue to do it over and over again until, the die is cast. So most of them are like that. So the fact here remains that then another myth is that a rape survivor will be battered, bruised, or hysterical. Fact, many rape survivors are not visibly injured. You won't see any scratch. Some, you will not even see any scratch on them, because if they are being forced a little or threatened a little and they give down, you just want to have the sex you want and life continues if you are not the batterer type. So apart from that, the threat of violence alone is often sufficient to cause a woman to submit to the rapist. When you threaten, you don't want to, I will show you, I will do this and that. You understand? Then another myth is victims who do not fight back have not been sexually assaulted. That's a lie. Because victims who decide not to fight back, maybe they don't have the strength, or maybe you have something you are using to threaten them, or maybe you have something that can harm them, and you just say, and they give in. It doesn't mean that they love that or they are enjoying it, but because they have no choice. You are the man here, you are the controller, so they just decide to give in. Then apart from that, another one is people who commit sexual assault are mentally ill, abnormal perverts. The fact remains that sexual offenders come from all occupational background, all racial background, all cultural background, they come from different educational, occupational, racial, social, cultural background. They are ordinary and normal individuals who sexually assault victims to assert power and control over them and inflict violence, humiliation, and degradation on them. So it can be anything, but to me, I believe they still have mental issues. You understand? It's not all of them that are mentally ill. Some knows what they want and they know what they are doing. They are just wicked people. Then another myth is that man cannot be sexually assaulted. It's a lie. I've seen cases of men being assaulted sexually, and we have to settle. At this show, when I was growing up too, that was my belief. When the job that I'm doing now has exposed me to a lot of things. I've seen men, big men, being assaulted by women, that you see their stature, the disparity in the statures, and you're like, how did he do this? You understand? So, men are also being abused sexually. Men are being abused sexually, but though the percentage is so minimal, but men too are being sexually abused. Any man can be sexually assaulted regardless of the size, the strength, the sexual orientation, or even the appearance. So men are sexually abused. Then the 14th myth is that women falsely accuse men of sexual assault. Yeah, it is possible but the percentage are so small because reported sexual assault are true with very few exceptions. So most of the time, we might say women want to lie. But you know, for a woman to speak up about rape, to report you about rape, if she must have, been down, because most of them will want to keep it. So it is not too common for you to see a woman going to report you that I've been raped, or lying against you. Lying against you. If you touch my breast when I have not given you the permission to do, is an assault on my personality. If you slap my bum bum when I have not given you the permission, is an assault. If you decide to force me to kiss me, is an assault. Those are my private part. If you touch my private part when I have not asked you to touch me, is an assault. So it does not mean, talking about sexual violence and assault, does not mean total the penetrative penile sex. It can just be that you're touching someone's breast, like some people do in the marketplaces. You see some girls are just going there, they'll be touching the woman. Either she's married, either she's a pastor. They don't even want to know your status. Maybe you are a reverend mother or something. They continue to touch you. Even when you are not dressing provocatively, just because they see something in you, or you have the big breasts, you have the big bum bum, it's an assault. It's an assault. So we should be able to control our feelings, control our boy child, our girl child, on the basics of sexual violence, what it entails, and all that. Then apart from that, the myths. The sexual assault, the last one, sexual assault can only occur in dark places and isolated areas. No, sexual assault can happen anywhere, at any time. The majority of assault occurs in places ordinarily thought to be safe, such as churches, homes, inside the vehicle, the cars, offices, schools, and all that. Teachers assault their girl pupils. It happened. The one just happened in the church that is very fresh. So a lot of things happen. Can happen in the office, can happen everywhere. A girl comes to your office, you are the boss, the big oga, and you start, harassing and molesting her right there. And she doesn't want to lose her job. She gives in because she's trying to cope with her job. It's an assault. So I don't want to go further, but I want you to, we got to train our kids. Let them know, let us set boundaries and limitations for our children, so they know what they should do. Scott, you are welcome. So we should give our children, we should set boundaries for them, tell them their private part. Let the sex education begin as soon as the child can call daddy. As the child can say, mommy, I want to eat, I want to pee, I want to I need something. The moment the child speaks up, and they can comprehend you, whatever you tell them, they're able to say it. We should start teaching them sex education. It should be incorporated. Like I watched, I saw a video or something, and the father was telling the child at age 7 that the dad was telling the son that I think we should start talking about sex education. And the child told the dad, what would you like to learn about sex education? And the father was like, wow, are you for real? And the child had to tutor the father, all the things that he has learned in school. So we should do it early. It should not be from outsider that our children will know of sex education, because the peer pressure out there is crazy. And let them know that rape, sleeping with their sister, sleeping with someone else on the force is not good. And for we the parents, especially when the boy child does something bad, maybe they have impregnated a girl or raped a girl, is the girl that you'll be abusing. That you too, why did you come to my son? Why did you agree for my son? And you are there spoiling your son's life, spoiling his future. It's not because of today. Remember the law of karma. Whatever you sow, you're going to reap. Let's train our boy child to be responsible. Let's train our girl child to be responsible. The Bible says, train your child in the way of the Lord. When they grow up, it will not depart from them. Enough, a word is enough for the wife. I'm your friend, Noz, okay? For any consultation, you need to You need referral to hospital, you need education, you need us to talk about something, we are here always to tell you. Kindly like, share, and follow my page till I come your way next time. I'm your friend also, okay? Bye bye and God bless you.